Everybody, welcome back to another CYT-Crypto episode. My name's Stephen Aitchison, and today we're going to be looking at some heroes in the form of a country, but in the form of a kind of president of that country as well. And it's looking at El Salvador and what they're doing with crypto just now, and how the kind of world is trying to strong arm El Salvador into acquiescing to cow down to them and just not accept Bitcoin as a legal tender, and how they're doing that and how they're fighting back and how it's actually helped the country itself. So we'll go to this story first of all. This is from the US, and this is just crazy. So Rish Menendez Cassidy introduced legislation to mitigate risk of El Salvador's adoption of Bitcoin. Despite El Salvador only having about $36 million worth of Bitcoin, they're trying to put through a bill to look at the impact that kind of El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as legal tender is going to have on the US. It's $36 million. It's nothing at all, albeit it's growing all the time with El Salvador. They're putting this through and they're trying to officially kind of say, they're really saying in public, we're keeping an eye on you, just be careful. That's what they're saying to El Salvador, as if they have any jurisdiction at all over El Salvador. This is just how the kind of governments of the Western world are trying to strong arm these kind of smaller nations just now, and it's utterly ridiculous, but I love the fight back from it. So first it really was the International Monetary Fund that was saying to El Salvador, listen, we need to look at you adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. We need to look at that and we'll advise you. And El Salvador saying, big two fingers up, it's nothing to do with you. We're not going to kind of adhere to your policies because they're nothing to do with you at all. So that's where it kind of really started. So, and this is the latest one about the US getting involved as well, US senators. So this is what they had to say. This is Nayib Bukele he's saying, okay, boomers, you have zero jurisdiction on a sovereign and independent nation. We are not your colony, your backyard or your front yard. Stay out of our internal affairs. Don't try to control something you cannot control. Love it. Just totally love it. And I think it took a lot of balls, and I think it's taken a lot of courage for Bukele to do this at this kind of juncture, especially with the International Monetary Fund kind of on their backs as well, and they're getting criticism from other agencies as well, government agencies, supposedly trying to control or trying to help the people of its nations. Which is bullshit. They're not really trying to help the people of its nations by trying to stop Bitcoin becoming legal tender elsewhere, because they know the writing is on the wall. That's what's happening here. The writing is solely on the wall. However, there's going to be a struggle, and this is showing the struggle in public. This is showing what can happen, but this is also showing what can happen if you fight back. So this is Bukele showing how the kind of Bitcoin policy is actually working. So he's putting a tweet, El Salvador's GDP, the gross domestic product, actually grew 10.3% in 2021. And now its exports, a main driver of economic growth, grew 13% this January compared to January 2021. And we're looking at another double-digit GDP growth this year. By the way, El Salvador never had a double-digit GDP growth before 2021. That tells you a lot about it, but they're going further. Look at this. El Salvador tourism increases 30% since Bitcoin became legal tender. So they're saying El Salvador's tourism sees 1.4 million visitors instead of the expected 1.1 million visitors. 60% of foreign tourists were from the United States. El Salvador is looking to boost its economy with Bitcoin in various ways. So they're saying tourism has increased by 30%. Since it was introduced as legal tender on September the 7th, 2021. And the country's Minister of Tourism revealed the information, saying that there was an increase in the quarter 4 2021, 300 million or so more than expected. And I think it's only going to increase if we look at this story. El Salvador proposes offering citizenship to foreign investors. And Bukele announced this news through Twitter on Sunday. And you can see his tweet as well. I'm sending 52 legal reforms to Congress to remove red tape, reduce bureaucracy, create tax incentives citizenship in exchange for investments, new securities laws, stability contracts, etc. The plan is simple. As the world falls into tyranny, we'll create a haven for freedom. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful, and I love it. I love how he's fighting, but he's not fighting back. He's actually fighting for his country. And other countries are trying to get involved with this, or other government agencies in the form of the International Monetary Fund. The US government are trying to get themselves involved as well, and it's nothing to do with them at all. And he's just saying, this is what I'm doing for my country. F yous, I don't care what yous think, I'm doing it. And this is working for them. So this is brilliant for El Salvador. All eyes are on El Salvador. I think a lot of other countries are going to follow. I gave the news last week as well about Lebanon. To get actually aid from the International Monetary Fund, they have to devalue their currency by 93%. So it means if you've got £100,000 in the bank, it's now only worth £7,000. That's what it would mean if they were to devalue their currency. This is a totally different way of doing it. And I think a lot of people are going to be watching El Salvador and seeing what's going on with them as well. There's other countries following just now. There's other news stories coming up as well, which we'll do other news stories on as well. So this is what kind of the crypto world is up against just now. And us kind of getting fearful and saying, oh, Bitcoin's going to zero, it could go to... It doesn't matter what price is just now. In the long term, this story, these stories, and more countries adopting Bitcoin is only going to be amazing for the Bitcoin price. Literally, it's going to be amazing for the Bitcoin price. So you think at the moment that Bitcoin is $38,000 and you think, oh, could it go lower? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you buy just now or if you buy when it's lower or you buy when it's 50,000, because it's going to 100,000, 250,000, 500,000 in 5-10 years time. Think about the long-term growth of Bitcoin and think about why it's going to grow as well. Because of countries that are adopting Bitcoin, because they're trying to break free from the tyranny of the likes of the International Monetary Fund and the sanctions that could be imposed on them. They don't need to care about that anymore because they're taking back control. And this is what is happening just now in El Salvador. Other stories as well that they're not similar, but Canada trying to crack down on crypto as well. So, and this is a story from Cointelegraph. You better buy some Bitcoin. BTC figures defy Canada government as ETF assets hits record high. So the data from the on-chain monitoring resource CoinGlass shows that over the 2 weeks to February 24th, the Purpose Bitcoin ETF has increased its holdings from 28,854 to 32,257. That's an increase of 11.8%, which is pretty spectacular. So even the Canada government trying to crack down is not having an impact on what's going to happen with Bitcoin as well. And this is what Canada is trying to do. Crypto payments firms face new restrictions under Canada's blockade crackdown. So this is about the trucker blockade, about kind of COVID-19 rules and stuff like that as well. So they had a big, huge crackdown in an emergency meeting at their kind of parliament or the government, and they invoked its Emergencies Act for the first time, turning the focus on crowdfunding platforms and crypto payment providers linked to them. So they're trying to do that as well. They were trying to do that. And this is kind of what they tried to do with one firm called Nunchuck here. And this is quite amazing as well. So basically Nunchuck said the Ontario Superior Court of Justice sent us a Mariva injunction ordering us to freeze and disclose information about the assets involved in the Freedom Convoy 2022 movement. Here is our official response. So this is what they kind of wrote to them. So it's a court order saying, give us all the information about everybody that's on your records just now. That's basically what the Canadian government were trying to do. And here is the response for that as well. So I thought this was beautiful as well. Dear the Ontario Superior Court Justice, Nunchuck is a self-custodial, collaborative, multi-sig Bitcoin wallet. We're a software provider, not a custodial financial intermediary. Our software is free to use. It allows people to eliminate single points of failure and store Bitcoin in the safest way possible while preserving privacy. So they're saying we cannot freeze our users' assets, we cannot prevent them from being moved, and we do not have knowledge of the existence, nature, value and location of our users' assets. This is by design. And it's got at the end, please look up how self-custody and private keys work. When the Canadian dollar becomes worthless, we will be here to serve you too. Sincerely, the Nunchuck team. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I just thought that was brilliant. So this is what's happening in the crypto world. This is what the governments are trying to do to control kind of crypto or to bring it down. Or the other thing is what I would be doing if I was in government control just now and I was kind of fuddy-duddy and I was kind of in TradFi just now, what I'd be trying to do is get the Bitcoin price to go as low as possible, then buy as much as possible, and then say, okay, we'll make Bitcoin legal tender or whatever in 5-10 years time, or we'll do something with it, we'll make it legal, we'll do the ETF. And that's what I'd do if I was in government and I was an evil, kind of nefarious person. I would try and get the Bitcoin price as low as possible by spreading FUD as much as possible in all the kind of crypto newspapers or news outlets and stuff like that as well. Not newspapers, we don't use newspapers anymore, but in all the crypto news outlets, I would spread FUD as much as possible. And this is what's happening just now. It truly is what's happening. I know that sounds kind of as if there's a conspiracy going. There is. This is kind of what's happening. But they're either going to try and bring crypto down, which they can, or they're just going to try and bring the price down as much as possible and then swoop in to buy as much as possible. They'll buy it at $14,000, $20,000, $29,000, and then when it goes up to $1 million, they've made a lot of money for themselves, for the governments themselves, and get them out of this kind of national debt everybody's in just now because they've been printing money. So Bitcoin is ultimately going to help them. So really the story here is Bitcoin is not going anywhere. Bitcoin is here to stay, and Bitcoin, the price is going up. No matter what happens in the short term, Bitcoin price is going up in the future. What's going to happen with all the other kind of altcoins is another story altogether. I think the safe one is obviously Ethereum. A lot of things have been already built on that. DeFi is going to be on that as well. The DeFi is going to take over the banks. It's going to take over a lot of different things as well. So I don't think Ethereum's going anywhere. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. It's yet to be seen if the other layer ones are going somewhere. But in the short term, for the next couple of years, I think they're going to be safe, and I think they're going to be adopted more and more as well. And I spoke about that yesterday with Phantom being one of them, with the Left Zero kind of being an up-and-coming one as well. So that's what's happening just now with regards to the fight back that crypto is having with the kind of governments and the people that are trying to control us. Okay, that's it for just now. Until the next video, namaste. Take care. Bye now.